over 2 weeks ago, 20-year-old Jimi Olubunmi-Adewole tragically lost his life while trying to rescue a woman from the River Thames.
Well, his death has been met with an outpouring of admiration, with many calling for him to be honoured for his remarkable bravery.
But he wasn't alone that night. Alongside him was Joaquín García, who also put his life on the line to save a stranger, and today he's joining us to share that story. And good morning.
Morning, Joaquin.
I'm sorry you're here under these circumstances, but it is a remarkable story, and so many people want to say thank you to you as well as to Jimi. So it's Friday, the 23rd of April, about 12:10 on the east side of London Bridge. You're waiting for a bus.
Yeah.
And when were you first aware that something was happening?
Like, I was just waiting for the bus with, I guess, like 5 to 10 people. It was 12, but some people on the street. And I started to hear some screamings and shouting. So I started like to have a look there. And I saw what turned to be Jimi and Bernard. They were running from left to right, maybe shouting and panicking. So I said, okay, this is not like a regular street thing. This is some serious thing.
Yeah.
And I remember they even jumped. There's like a little fence on that building, and they jumped inside and they jumped back. I was like, okay, yeah, this is real. And they were shouting and screaming. So at that point, I was thinking, I'm gonna cross the street. I'm gonna ask what is happening. And at that time, Bernard crossed the street running, like not even minding the cars, like just crossing the street. And he started to point to the river and shouting like, she's there, she's there. And at that moment, it was like less than 5 minutes, but already some people were interested in the situation. And I went to the river, like to the bridge where he was pointing.
Yeah.
And I saw 2 girls calling to the police. And I looked to the river and I saw just one face and 2 hands just splashing.
Oh, God.
And at that moment I said, okay, this is real, like this is happening, not
This
like,
girl needs
I don't know
help.
what is going on there. No, this is happening.
The other man you mentioned a couple of times there, Bernard Cozier, who was also part of this sort of spotting her, trying to find out where she was. And then that's when you and Jimi, you've never met before, didn't know each other, you find yourselves standing there, ready to jump in.
Yeah, at this moment we were on top of the bridge, and I guess Jimi already went downstairs. And then Bernard went, right? And when I asked if they were calling the police, when I heard yes, my mind said, okay, I'm gonna jump, but not from top of the bridge. So I just ran downstairs.
Yeah.
And then I met Jimi and Bernard, and Jimi was already shirtless. Like, I think that's a key point for treat him like a hero, because he was not expecting any help. Like, she was already shirtless, he was just going to jump. And I actually was not expecting any help either, but I arrived there and Jimi turned his head and he said, are you jumping? Are you gonna jump with me? I said, yes. So I started to undress quickly, and at some point we were just ready to jump. And
he counted to 3, didn't he? He was like 1, 2, 3, and you didn't wait to get to 3. You went in on
like
2.
When he said 2, I just jumped because I really took that decision up on the bridge. Like, okay, I have to do it. And when he said 2, I was just with underwear and socks, so I just said, okay, I'm gonna do it.
There must have been an incredible amount of adrenaline going through your body. You know that there was this girl, time was of the essence. It's a powerful river, the Thames, a very dangerous river. It's very cold. When you jumped in, were you aware of the coldness around you?
Not at all. Actually, on the ambulance, one of the guys told me the cold must have taken your breath out. And I said, actually, not really. Like, I just dive in and I started to swim directly to her. And the first thing I tried was to pull her back when I jumped from, then pushing back. But
the current is so strong, isn't it?
Yeah, we were already further from when I jumped.
Yeah.
And she jumped or fell, I truly don't know, from the other side of the bridge. So she was more time than me.
Yeah.
And she was already unconscious.
So you decided the best thing to do would be to go with the flow and just keep her afloat.
Yeah.
And you told her to turn herself into a plank, and you say that you weren't even aware that she could hear you, but she actually did comply. She did lay flat.
Yeah, I couldn't see her eyes, or she didn't say a word during all the time. So I just said, listen, let's do the plank. Keep calm. Let's do the plank. So, because by then we were already 10, 15 minutes as much, and I was feeling tired. And I said, okay, let's do the plank. And at that moment, I don't know why, but I couldn't do the plank. Like, literally, I don't know if it was the current, but I just couldn't. And I was starting to swallow a bit of water.
God.
And at that moment was quite critical because now I was struggling. So I just turned looking for Jimmy or looking for just some help, and I saw two lights coming from the...
And this was the blue lights, this was the help, and that's when the rescue boats came in, and one boat rescued you, and the relief must have been huge, and there was another boat that went to the lady to rescue her, and you were taken to hospital, so you knew she was okay, which must have been a huge relief, because that was the whole point of you jumping in the first place.
Yeah, and I didn't know who Jimmy was, but when I was rescued, they were asking me, how many did you jump? Like, and they told me, are you Jimmy? And I said, no, I'm Joaquin. And at that moment, when I was just rescued, they told me, okay, the girl is safe, you are safe, but we didn't find Jimmy. And yeah, then we went to the heating room just to recover the temperature.
Well, you went to St Thomas's Hospital, and they do some checks and make sure that you're okay. And then the next day, it's not until much, much later, and I think it was your girlfriend that said that they'd sadly found him and that he had died in the river.
Yeah, and I remember just before leaving the hospital, I asked the one police officer, did they found Jimmy? And it was 5 in the morning at this time, and they told me no. So already at that moment was like, I already been through 5 hours since I jumped.
Yeah.
It's been through all of this, and they didn't find him still. And yeah, as you were saying, after the, like, it was around 5 o'clock on the evening, and my girlfriend told me, you know the guy that jumped with you? He passed away, and at that moment was very, very shocking. Like, I had to rely on a wall, and I was feeling empty.
And because, I guess, you were in it together, and you both jumped together, and so I guess as with the weeks go by and you kind of piece together what happened that night and it sort of becomes a bit more clearer, I guess you can't help but think that if it wasn't for luck, it could have been you. It wasn't...
Yeah, that's a thing that comes to my mind every time I think on it, because I jumped from here and he jumped from here. It was 2 meters. I don't know why I arrived to the girl, but I couldn't see Jimmy at any moment. Like, the last time I saw Jimmy was when we jumped.
Yeah.
So that's,
I mean, it could be, you know, there are so many things it could be. It could be the fact that he may have been affected by the cold that much more, been shocked when he went in and lost his breath. You can be meters apart, but one current can do one thing and one current can do another. As we said, it's a cold, powerful river. And so you probably never really know that. But what we know is that 2 heroes jumped into the river that night. Sadly, we lost one of them. There is a woman alive because of you guys. And I know that there are tributes on the bridge to Jimmy now, and there's talk of some sort of commemoration as well. How do you feel about that?
I really like it, and the first time I saw it was when I went there just to do some photos for an interview. And it felt really emotional because that shows that all the people is supporting that campaign for giving him the hero medal. Like, it's truly a thing that the people wants. It's truly saying hero there.
Yes.
And what about you? Do you feel like a hero?
On the first days, was quite hard to think on myself as a hero, because I don't know if I'm too hard with myself, but like at the moment that I had to leave her because I was struggling, like when I started to swallow water, I checked that she was okay, like doing the plank, but I was just struggling. so much that I just have to swim instinctively for help, like for the.
The boat was there. The boats were already there.
Yeah.
So you stayed with her all of that time, kept her afloat, kept talking to her. All you did was board a boat, and the other boat was straight there for her. So
Yeah, it has been until the second week, more or less, that I started to calm
yeah,
and to think, okay, because one colleague told me, listen, he sent me some screenshot about Twitter saying like, Joaquin should be honored as well, and that felt really good at that time. 2 weeks after, because on the first 2 days, as I said, to being called hero, legend, was overwhelming because it was reminding me the shock.
of course. Well, you are a hero.
You are.
And all heroes say they're not, but in the eyes of everyone who hears this story, you are. Jimi is, and we don't know who the lady was. We don't know why she was in the river, but we know that pretty sure that wherever she is, she also thinks you're a hero as well.
You're a very
Thank you
brave
for
man.
coming in
Thank
today.
you. Lovely to meet you. Thank you.